Alrighty, guys, welcome back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have why Drake just canceled his tour yet again for the worst reason and was caught lying about it. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop for the video, and Drake has been caught lying, it seems like quite a bit over the past year. He already canceled the Australian tour earlier this year due to what they claim to be logistic reasons, even though the rows upon rows of fans with signs begging for help obviously didn't help. And if I'm not mistaken, those logistic reasons were due to the fact that they had a bye week. They had to be there for an extra week or two. And you would think a production this big would have already had that accounted for, given the fact that his team definitely needed to approve these type of details. But to me, he didn't actually want to do the tour. He wasn't excited when they were talking about it, about the prospects of him going back to Australia after not performing there for so long. And that tour honestly seemed specifically set up to try to take some of the thunder away from Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show, which was obviously unsuccessful because it was still the most watched halftime show ever. His best bet on this tour was just to wait until the tour actually went on break or until the tour was just completely over. Because at the end of the day, people are going to automatically compare and connect these two artists and these two tours for the rest of their careers. But enough dilly dallying, let's jump right into the video where we have Drake just canceled his tour again for the worst reason and was caught lying about it. Get ready for the cult of the Ovihoites to try to move the goalposts yet again. It's definitely been quite the workout of them trying to do so.
Now, when it comes to Drake, well, if you are ready to see how the Drake A Wish Foundation is getting shut down and his current tour is already in big trouble right after just starting,
Uh-oh.
be sure
Seems like similar issues to that Australian
to
tour.
leave a like and subscribe. And now, really, as after the mess and disaster that turned out to be the Anita Max Win Tour's strange issues which caused it to end abruptly, are now already repeating on Drake's new set of loser link-up conventions, and that was just a few months ago? Well, things are seriously getting concerning for the 40-year-old man who wants to be called the boy, as now with Drake and Party Next Door's Some Special Shows for You tour, well, now just a few shows into this thing, and in a time where Drake is trying to leave the boardrooms and at least give his fans the impression that he is getting back to work, whether it's with generic Central C
Well, he's been getting back to work, but the thing is, he keeps tying and connecting everything back to Kendrick Lamar, even though the cult of the Ovihoides want to go claim that Kendrick Lamar is the one doing that, and he's the one that's trying to use the beef to get attention.
collabs, or by just making hour-long videos where he is filming a chase scene with Pinocchio. Well, now, regardless of how we want to look
A lot
at
of
Drake,
filler.
the one thing that at least seemed clear from all of these efforts he is making right now is that he is trying after all of the losing and awful things that he has done. Well, despite all of that, with this combination of new music coming out, content to annoy all of us with, and then shows which are trying to win back whatever people would still be willing to go to a Drake concert in 2025, well, Drake really is now trying to make this big effort to win back whoever he possibly can. And now when it comes to people supporting him and the remaining actual fans who would still want to go to an OVO karaoke fest, which they are out there, well, now for these people,
Of course, it's not like he doesn't have fans that wouldn't want to attend. And I don't think the conversation ever was that he's just going to fall off the face of the earth and that no one is going to stream his music or attend his shows. Just the fact that his stock has obviously dropped.
people who just are obsessed with the most passive, pacifying, and mid music ever. Well, seemingly now Drake does not even want to keep these
Uninspired.
people around and really take proper care of the people who have really still stuck around with him no matter what. Because now with what Drake just did with less than a day before an upcoming show on this SSS for You tour was really one of the most baffling moves that I have seen in terms of just touring, especially in this time.
And that's wild because the album was technically successful. So if he can't tour based off that, looking scary for him.
Lot of ways. Because to be honest, when we really look at what Drake did, this is one of the worst show cancellations that we have seen in quite a while, as now what has just come out is that Drake's concert, which was originally scheduled in Manchester for July 28th, has been canceled. And now the reason that the arena and Drake's representatives have given for this is, and I'm going to directly quote this, due to unforeseen ferry schedule and travel logistics, tomorrow's performance in Manchester.
And this can very well be true. They can be telling the truth. But at the end of the day, after what happened in Australia, the fact that he canceled that because he didn't want to stay there for a week because it would have been too expensive is obviously going to dictate the perception of this change.
Well, maybe if there were some traveling issues and Drake was in another city or area and this was all happening,
In the
could make
UK.
sense on why this show would not be going down. Well, now in spite of this, as you can literally see for yourself, that when we look at the logistics of this tour, Drake has literally been in Manchester for the past few days, as he did shows here on the 25th and then also the 26th. Well, then how can there possibly be travel issues that you and your team could not figure out some sort of a solution for? Because this just does not make sense. Because
Stuff like this does happen in the industry, Who knows if some part of the production can make it in time? But we all got to admit that the timing does look off.
Really, the amount of people that Drake is responsible for getting to this show, considering that the shows are at the same arenas they have been at, is in terms of one of the most hectic parts of the music business in touring, one of the most simplest things to do. Because your crew is still getting a rest because the stage remains set up and there's nothing they have to do in terms of building it and taking it apart, which is one of the worst and most time constraining things about touring. And pretty much
Yeah.
when then you just realize that the artist and the team who actually goes through with all of the other behind the
Yeah, but it's not just having the set there, it's also having the people. But again, none of these shows have been anything extraordinary. These shows definitely don't have the same luster that they once had.
all of this just doesn't make sense and
Maybe a
it does not
personnel
add
thing.
up once again. And just like the weird cancellation of the Anita Max Win Tour shows, really with the way touring works and with how carefully they plan out these events, especially with such high profile names like Drake, you don't just cancel a show within this way unless something sudden happens.
Yeah,
And
not
now,
so
as
soon.
Drake is still clearly chilling and being his lame old self, as we have been able to see,
But that's the thing. Even though things can happen with personnel, it's your duty as Drake's team, which obviously they haven't proven to be competent, their job to remain one step ahead of all that and forecast issues like this.
he's still making TikToks, being seen in public, listening to music,
Live
and making
streaming.
cringe videos for Drake, which Drake has really been embarrassing himself more than ever with. Well, now, with all of this, suddenly what we are seeing is that there is clearly nothing personal that changed Drake's plans so suddenly. And really understanding that, it only leaves us with two more potential reasons for why this show could have been canceled, which now, if this ending was like the Anita Max Win Tour's end, well, that would be over low ticket sales, seemingly. And now, as they did give similar reasoning, all in terms of
Has anyone actually heard anything about the rescheduled dates yet? I haven't heard any talk of that.
trying to use this idea of travel issues and logistics for the reasoning of why these shows were not going to happen. Although, of course, again, when we look at this in reality, these shows were planned out for months and months, and all of these things, including a travel itinerary, were established before these things were even announced. Well, again, that just cannot make sense within almost any way you try to put it. And now, with how these
It's not low ticket sales, it's pure incompetence.
shows seem to look, and now by how many people were supposed to go to this show and are just mad at Drake, which you can see online. These people are seriously mad as Drake has ruined their plans. Well, overall, with just seeing all the backlash Drake is getting for these people who took off work and made their schedule
Truly is unfair because there's tons of people that have to go and schedule time off work. They can't just leave whenever. So something like this is obviously something that can derail their plans permanently. Because who knows if they're able to take that time off again in a month or whenever the show is scheduled for. A potential reason may have been that maybe he had some type of special guest that he hoped would gain him some favor, but that's just guessing at this point.
see this show at this very
Speculation.
moment, and now it has messed them all up. To be honest with this, I don't think that ticket sales are the reason. And now, really, with this, which in actuality we are seeing such a direct and short notice of a cancellation, which is now messing up real people's schedules, lives, and even pockets, because people come out to these places, get hotels, travel, and all of that,
Lights.
and now you did it all for nothing. Well, ultimately, what you just have to wonder now and really start to think is seriously up with Drake. Because really, let's just say this show is filling up and a lot of people were going. Why would you do this with no good reason, which has become clear that there really wasn't, and the answer we have gotten is complete and utter lies? Really, when you just think about this a little more, it really does ultimately expose Drake's biggest problem as a whole and why he
incompetence.
has really been one of the worst things that we have seen in terms of a star for both music and, more importantly, hip-hop ever. And now what I mean by this and why Drake ultimately canceled this show is because this guy is just straight up lazy and really does not care about anything other than himself and this little petty bubble that he exists within. Because honestly, with Drake
Seems
just
to be the
putting off
case
this
for a
show
long
and then
time
other
now.
shows are getting rescheduled and you are just sinking your own tour for no apparent reason, this truly does just seem like a commitment issue at this point. And like, are you doing this out of straight laziness? Because for a guy like Drake, who has already been in this city and all you do is flex so you can get anything open at any time and how you have all these private jets and stuff like that, how all of a sudden is an issue with a ferry that people are still traveling around and getting to the show regardless of what's on your end?
But again, this is more of an issue of the incompetence of the team because this is something that should have obviously been forecasted way before.
Real reason that is stopping you and the people who need to be at this show from getting to the arena to play within a venue that is already set up for exactly what you need to do. And now once again, as we are seeing Drake just cancel these shows once again, and this will make over 5 shows
I don't think Fantastic Hip Hop realizes that they don't just leave the production sets and the equipment on stage. That stuff does get taken down and put away when not in use. These type of issues shouldn't be foreign territory for Drake. The guy really hasn't had these type of issues before, at least this frequently, all within a year. But with the year he's had and the way he's acted out, all eyes are gonna be on him. So this is probably the time when your team should be trying their best to not have any of these issues come up.
in this era where he has been doing these shows and running away from the US just not happening at
Mhm.
all or going down the way they were supposed to. Well, now, as all this is happening time, Kendrick Lamar
They've
has
all
never
had
canceled a
hiccups, huh?
single one of his shows on the Grand National Tour, and he has been out there in the rain or shine since April, making these incredible moments throughout the
Yeah.
entire world now. One of itself, no matter where you want to bring the Drake and Kendrick debate and everything around it, when you see how Kendrick performs these shows that are bigger and bigger than what Drake has ever been able to do, even at his prime, and he just shows up every
Well, fam, just the venue capacity alone, it's like 2 to 3 times more than any of those arena shows.
night and does what people come for, and Drake is just
Drake has done stadiums here and there, spot dates, but nothing like this, a full tour.
calling in and out of work like the worst coworker you have ever had. Well, once again, we are seeing why so many things in the entire music industry are the way they are, and really for Kendrick Lamar. Just why he ascended to this place that I'm sorry, Drake, even in his prime, was never close to. Because again, really, with Kendrick
They've
just always
just been
showing up
so
and
on
never
point.
sinking costs and expectations with these massive performances that he is doing where so much is on the line. Because again, even in terms of the optics for this, being the first rapper to bring hip hop to a stadium tour, you are serving as an
Nah, that's not the case. We've definitely had other rappers do it as well. But for me, what Kendrick Lamar is doing is just next level. And the dude is doing it with almost no help, barely any backing track, just some harmonies and ad libs, and a small group of dancers,
entire grand statement for the
keeping
genre at
everyone's
large and
attention.
what its potential could be in this setting? Well, ultimately, what Kendrick is doing is showing both the industry and people that he can be a trusted leader in whatever category you want to put him in because he brings no drama whatsoever to the production of these shows. Which again,
Going on
even with
without
a
a hitch.
cancellation or rescheduling something, everybody loses from these things. And as somebody who used to personally work in touring, I will say now for
He should know a lot better than.
this team and everyone on the tour who was going to
And there's
lose
levels
was
to
going
it.
into their pockets over this. So then the people who came out here and spent all they did, and now they are going to have to come back to see Drake
Mhm.
next month. So then the employees of these venues who now have to come into work on another
And it sucks because most of these flights, they're non-refundable. So for them, they just got to eat the cost. So it really does suck for the fans. They're the ones truly losing from all this because at the end of the day, Drake is just going to get his next check. And who knows if the rescheduled date is even this year. I've heard of some acts do like a rescheduled date 8 months, a year later down the road. So yeah, man, it does suck for them. But stuff like this just calls out, like I said, the competence of the team.
day that they were not supposed to, and this could mess up a lot of people's plans and schedules. Overall, this is just not fun and another moment of Drake not just being a Karen or anything like that, but being blatantly unprofessional and showing why he should have never been able to be the face of hip hop for as long as he was. But hey, at least with Drake still putting these lame old games on while everybody is watching him and he is trying to make a last effort comeback, like
Essential feature did not do what I think he thought it was going to do.
everyone is seeing just how much he is failing compared to his rival in Kendrick Lamar in every sense of the word now. Because really, this one guy is selling out stadiums every night and putting on some of the best shows that
Super
people have
lit
ever
shows.
seen, and the other is canceling karaoke out of laziness. Again, I'll ask, who won the beef? As it out
Oh, bam. It's pretty obvious who won the Kendrick Lamar. The culture won. People spoke. I already hit up one of the shows on the GNX tour, and to me, definitely one of my top musical memories ever, which is crazy. I've been signed as a producer for a while now. I've worked with some pretty top-notch talent, and still to be in that venue, to be in that stadium with 40 plus thousand people in there on the same wavelength and just feeling that type of energy, you're not really going to understand it until you're there. Which makes me even more excited to actually go attend the show over in Mexico City because it's going to be amazing seeing one of these international dates. Because the energy at those dates have also been off the charts. Even if Drake and his team aren't lying about these issues, it's kind of weird coming after the fact that he already canceled the Australian tour for the same thing. And that reason, honestly, for me, was just because they didn't want to pay for their staff to be there for another week or two, which is crazy because these shows are already making tons of money. And at this point, with the reputation you've kind of built over the past year and a half, probably should have ate that cost just to have things go off without a hitch. These tours almost seem like they're being sloppily put together just to have something out there. And that's the thing that you don't want to do when it looks like you've been making sloppy move after sloppy move, L after L. Stuff like this is obviously not going to help rebuild his reputation. And honestly, I don't know what really is going to do that. Well, like I said earlier, I don't think he's just going to go from being the most streamed rapper to not being streamed at all. To think that he's ever going to be back at the place that he once was, I don't think that's really ever going to be the case. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Why do you guys think Drake canceled the tour? Do you guys think it could possibly be logistics or something else? Whatever you guys think it is, definitely put that in the comments. But even if it is logistics, honestly, it just, like I said, screams of incompetence. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Does your channel wonders. I really want to thank you guys so much for continuing to make this channel a part of your day. It honestly means the world to me. All the love and support that you guys continue to show this channel on a daily is overwhelming. Probably the biggest reason why I make these videos. I'm definitely looking forward to your take on all this. Definitely a very big shout out to all those that have been joining memberships. Again, it's such a small way to support the channel, but definitely goes a very long way helping out. And a very big super thank you to all those that have been sending super thanks. Shout out to one of our supporters, Renee, for sending a very, very nice super thank you. All you guys add so much to the conversation and the dialogues. I'm definitely looking forward to what you guys have to say on this topic. You guys love this video, and I hope to see you guys soon. Maybe the reason he canceled this date is because he's reinstalling his ban unit. Bro wants the braids to touch the back of his neck for once.